Well, hello. You are most welcome back to the GMODISM channel. This is your host Eric. And it is namely so that we will upgrade the Gimle class. We do have our ongoing Gimle tournament, and I felt like I wanted to inject the Gimle back into there. All the winners of the battles had the opportunity to upgrade their ships if they got in and update them ready for battle. That was quite some time ago, but I felt I wanted to upgrade the Gimle as well and see if it can defeat some ships that it basically already got defeated by, but if the Gimle can get some revenge if we upgrade it. The cost will be the same or less. So think of this a little bit like the retrofit or the upgrade we did for Martin Sitterpan's Ultra Yamato, but we do it for the Gimle class. I do know a little bit more about the Gimle class, and I do know how to fix it and improve it because I have collected this information. And in this little series, as this will be a little series, we can't do everything at once, we will also in parallel, we will build a little ship in parallel. A medium-sized vessel will be constructed for our commander Delphin, who is the next commissioned officer to get the reward. So I felt I wanted to basically do several projects at once. This is how I usually do things anyways, but I kind of wanted to put this in a video format as well, actually doing several projects at once, kind of. Well, let's dive into the Gimle class first. So, here, my ladies and gentlemen, we got the GMODISM Industries, this is the GMODISM Imperial Unified Armed Forces, if you didn't know what that stands for. Army of GMODISM for short. Gimle class battleship, Mark III. The Mark II is already taken, to be honest, so this is gonna be Mark III. Yeah, the Gimle Mark II is a fan upgrade by Kevin Tryon that participated in the Gimle tournament. Actually, it lost against the original Gimle, unfortunately. But that is why this is the Mark III. So I have been drawing here a little bit on the different types of upgrades that we want. So this is... it's unlike whatever is this program called. It's like meant for making mind maps and shit from Apple. So I misuse it, but whatever. I'll show you a little bit in detail. We'll go through what we will do. Yeah, we have a lot of detail. We'll come back to this map a little bit later on, but let's first go back to the real ship and remove some stuff, basically. As you probably know, we did test different loadout, different shells, to make the most deeply penetrating 8-meter shell possible. And Netrameira submitted a layout for a shell that penetrates even deeper. And while Netrameira was on doing that, he also upgraded this turret. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to first remove a lot of turrets, right? So we'll go into switch to this little cog mode, which only shows the working or functional parts. And we're going to start and cut away and strip away turrets. Because this turret right here the Arquebalista Invictus has been upgraded by Netrameira. We're going to check out the difference, how much better it is too. And then I'm actually going to remove these turrets. The detonator, I think this is the Detonator Mark II S. Davidos class for our then Admiral. But now Super Dave is back as a Chancellor in the government of GMODISM instead. So, wow. Moving across the different ranks and areas of important spaces, you know? Yeah, that's probably a good segue. Huge thanks to all of you who are supporting the channel every month. It really helps. And most notably, we got our government official Chancellor Super Dave as mentioned. Then, as commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM, we have Admiral Dragon X62 and our commanders Ben Vilke and Delphin, which we're gonna build for today in this series too. Our lieutenants Ali, Anto, Cravey, Flowers Daggans, Daniel Saikin, Owen, Parbagreed, Vincent Veritas, Rick Prell, and Scooberox. And of course to all our cadets and everyone in the Ecclesiarchy of GMODISM who is supporting the channel over at YouTube memberships and get early access to videos. So big thanks to all of you. Very thank. Gimle is looking a little bit shallow now. And the thing is that these connection points are actually not great. So I'll actually upgrade these connection points because the game has a nasty ability of getting high explosive damage to leak. So I want to seal the bottom here and kind of make it a little bit more sturdy. Because it is namely the case that we made a couple of prefabs for armor. Which is our turret wells. We got turret hardpoints. So here we have like a D17 turret hardpoint. This we could use in the bottom of the turret, for example. And I may also use our duct armor. We made a lot of duct armor and stuff for turrets. Possibly we'll put this into it too, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that, you know, I want to do a Mark II, I want to do an upgrade, but I don't want to do a complete retrofit. I want it to still be, you know, just an upgraded Gimle class where I fixed the things that didn't quite work, right? But this needs to be fixed right there. And I actually think we should go ahead and test out the new turrets here. These turrets that will be replaced, the main turrets. The upgraded versions are a tad bit more expensive, but they're also a tad bit better. So yeah, let us check out that. Alright, so we're going to test this different turrets. So here we have the, let's see here, is this the upgraded version? Yes. This is the Arquebalista Interdominus, and that is the upgraded version by Netrameira. And then we're gonna scroll down in this little list, and here we have the Arquebalista Invictus. You can see they're a little bit different in the gauge, right? So the Arquebalista Invictus is at 480 millimeter, whereas the Arquebalista Interdominus is at 494 millimeters. They do have, I think, they both have built in shells. That's kind of what's so smart about them, that you don't have to mess around with the shells here. So here we have an 18 module 1. And I don't quite remember if it used similar thing or not. Oh yeah, it kind of uses a quite similar shell. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter too much. Here we have them. Now, we're gonna use the smart platform that you didn't want me to release first. You can set the aim the barrel elevation to 0. Very smart. We should activate the revolver and adjust the distance to a bit further. And then I do believe they are... Can they be like 17 high or something? Let's see here. I don't quite remember exactly. Yeah, I remembered exactly. 17 is the number. So we're just going to fire them and see at these different targets. Here we have the kind of a sheep target, so we can just fire this here. Bam, both penetrates straight through. No surprise there. Here we have my preferred type of armor usually. I think it's gonna go straight through this one as well, whenever they have reloaded. It's like a 10-second reload time. Let's try here then. Bam. Goes straight through. Goes to the next one. This is what I want to call the Reddit armor. The crazy thing is that the upgraded Into the Dominus version actually has a slightly slower shell. It's so little slower that it shouldn't be a problem, but having slower shell generally can lead to less hits. And both of them goes through without any big issue there. So now we come to like the deep penetration armor. Here is really hard to kind of get through here. So this is like thick armor, really a lot of heavy armor, a lot of we do have ducts as well. So you can see here neither of them went through that much, to be honest. It's kind of similar in terms of their penetration right here. Yeah, we did test the Into the Dominus before. It does perform better. As you can see, this block is more damaged than this block. If you want to be exact about it, we can of course bring up the health point. This is at 66%, whereas this at 55%. So yeah, when we do another slap like this, you can see this managed to kill the one behind it, and this one is at 26%, and you can see it does deal more damage, right? Well, we did test them, and the Into the Dominus is better. It is a bit better. This one costs 67,000, and the Indomitus, I mean, it costs 73,000 materials. So it's a tad bit more expensive. So in terms of material cost efficiency, I can't say if it's better or not, but I really love that Netrameda did upgrade it for us and improved it, so it does have better stats. So even though it is a little bit more expensive, we are of course going to use it. We're going to use that one on the new platform. So now I think it's time to check out. Now it's gonna be pretty impossible to test these out. It's gonna be real big turrets. But let's just compare a little bit quickly the ram cannons. The detonator 1970mm Mark III, and this is class Rock, and that is because our Lieutenant Scuba Rocks was a lieutenant, was a admiral some time ago, and then this upgraded version was named in that honor, since the previous detonator was named after like for our former admiral S-Dave Buchanan, which is now our chancellor. Well, that is the version that is present on the Gimle right now. So if we just compare them heads to heads a little bit here, the Mark II is 170,000, whereas the Mark III is 176,000, so it's 6,000 materials more expensive. It does use a more frag heavy setup, so it's marked with a red band instead of the blue ones. And again, it's a frag setup. It does have some better detection online, and it does... this is just for show. But it is laser detonated, so it will detonate in the area of the enemies. This upgraded version, which it was a time ago I built it, but we have a shell health of 220,000. So it's kind of the same. It's a little bit higher on the new version, but not really a lot higher. The reload speed of them both is around 16, so that didn't really change. 16 seconds. But if you check it here, we have some EMP, some frag, you know. We got we actually have more explosive and more frag. Yeah. 52. It's kind of a little bit more explosive, but it does detonate around the enemy using, you know, laser detonation. So that's kind of the upgrade. We have some better turret armor here because in all the Gimle battles I've seen how it kind of gets torn down. It's set up in a way so it's a little bit more sturdy and it kind of dies a little bit less often, basically, if that makes any sense. Well, the main thing is actually the area detonation thing. That's going to ensure more damage. And if we look at this setting here, we have a 170-degree frag angle, whereas the previous Mark II we have a 150, so not really big difference. It's just a little bit better overall, and the thing that is the big deal is, of course, it's gonna explode in the air. It's gonna be an air burst if it doesn't provide a direct hit. That's the big deal. Yeah, well, in the meantime, I'm going to strip and fix this a little bit. We are going to just take a little bit of a look at what we're gonna build for our commander instead. I'm like testing all the drawing app right now, but here is the technical little sketch. So I basically want something in this terms of a boat. I did ask our commander which bow shape he preferred, and Delphin thought that alternative number 2 is what we're gonna go with. So we're gonna build it then in a little bit similar style, like for the constabulary there. And we have some ideas here of features. We got, it's gonna be a monitor class ship, basically. So it is going to, well, big gun of glass. And I've started to experiment a little bit with doom crams that are rotary. As I shown you a little bit before in empirical testing, since we did build that very cool diff gun, that rotary diff gun, I want to do the same with a cram cannon, right? And that's what's going to be the main weapon here. So we're going to have some small AA cannon and yeah, maybe some lasers if we can fit. And we just try to basically shape out some things we want here, and I try to sketch a little bit for the armor and also for the gun. So here we can see the rotary doom cram system. We're gonna look a little bit more into that later, but let us start shaping this little ship. Since we do have our little technical drawing here, we can start building on it. Yeah, and this is of course how far we have started or gotten. We're just making the general shape. So for the commander, it will be about 50 meters long ship. So this will be a reasonable length of the ship, right? May stick out a little bit more with tentacles here and there, but in general, like the hull is about 50 meters. So in this little medium ship is gonna be the canvas that we can work with. So I've just upgraded it to the next version as far as we've gotten in this stage, where we just try to outline the shape a little bit, and we can do like that, and you can see that it's going to be a front sider, right? It's going to be a monitor, so it's going to be a front sider, and we're going with pretty cost-effective armor in the front, so we're going to rely a lot of wood and stone for taking the initial blast, but then we're going pretty low with the armor in general because we want the materials to be mostly spent on building weapons and providing that alpha strike damage. And we started to build on the superstructure, and the rotary cannon is going to be placed there. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what we can fit into this whole thing, I hope. Well, we have now removed the guns that we're not going to use here, and I've fixed these little areas where the turrets stand on so that they are sealed. Here you can see a better connection point. We used the ducts to provide a better support point. So I ended up making them custom, basically. And yeah, I think this is gonna work out pretty well. That's exactly what we have gone for here. Now, we may remove some other systems later too, but already removing these 4 cram cannons plus the Arcoballista Invictus systems, we have managed to drop this to 1.3 million in cost. So we basically removed 1 million of materials from this bad boy by just removing that. Or I mean, it's a ship, it's a girl, never mind. Well, in any case, under here, I did add some more details onto it. So here we can see it took a really long time. This is what I've been doing the last hour, or some hour previously actually. But here you can see making this shape. I found these shapes eventually. It was difficult, but we found them. So now we have a shape that I'm pretty darn happy with, and I really like the front here on it too. Anti-fouling paint, as it should be, copper-based. Yeah, so onto this, we will be constructing the monitor ship. I want to have a taller superstructure, as you probably saw in the drawings later on there. But let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do now with the Gimle class. So let's go back to the drawing board here so that I can explain to you what I have thought that we must do. So here we have some stuff. We have some pretty expensive systems, like this little Civs cannon at the top here is like Civs missiles. That's really expensive. We'll have to remove that. We're gonna upgrade the interceptors to a new version of interceptors that we are actually in development. It's a follow-up video that really got really delayed. It was many months ago I did the tests last, but we need to conclude the tests. And Omicron has actually helped doing some testing before, which is a matrose in the army of GMODISM. But we need to collect those results and actually give you some results, right? Right, one problem the Gimle class has is that it loses sometimes detection and tracking. So we're going to add more tracking, since this little thing, this little detection tower, is sometimes killed, and that's really detrimental to the Gimle's performance for the rest of the battle. And I imagine that we need to add another laser output as well, because sometimes the laser output gets killed, and that is also game over for the Gimle class. And that's because these turrets here, they sometimes, you know, I try to make them really sturdy, but they are not as sturdy as I thought they would be, and that's laser turrets, right? So what we also want to do is that we have a disruptor. Like these turrets here I mark, they are both heat and disruptor conduit, but I realized that Hesh is actually a better fit to remove you know, shields and turrets and important blocks inside of turrets and stuff. So we're gonna swap the heat to Hesh instead inside of there. And as said, the Mark II turrets here, this is the MK2. They're going to be replaced by the new Mark III, which we did show or look at. And that's also true for the upgraded Interdominus. They did prove to be better. So, well, we need to fix that. And the loadout for this weapon, this little tiny little diff gun, is going to be swapped too, so that we can actually have a chance of killing the enemy's shields in early battle. Right, one thing that will be a little bit difficult, but that we want to do, is to decrease the laser storage. So we have a lot of stored laser capacity. We're going to make it less and be more pump based. And we're going to make it an arson laser. And that's fancy for basically making it have more fire damage, since we do have that superheating module now. Moving on, the lamps. The lamps need to have shorter range, and that is so that they will steal laser less often, so it doesn't take on the laser output. So that a laser can deal more damage instead. So I want the lamps to only be used in last resort, very close quarters, and possibly even decreasing a couple of lamps nodes perhaps. We're gonna see a little bit about that, but we definitely need to make sure that the lamps steal less laser power. You know, this drawing app is not really meant for what we're doing it. That's why it's lagging a little bit. We are really overusing it in a weird way. Well, in any case, we want to make a lot of turrets subject to fire delay. So I made a breadboard before that basically delays fire for some cannons. And here we have the cram cannons, the four main cram cannons, the arqueballistas, and also the little diff gun that kills the shields in the beginning. These have to be subject to a firing delay, because From the Depth has a tendency to make the first rounds kind of miss. But if you let them, you know, think a little bit, let them collect some good data on range and bearing and stuff, then we should, you know, possibly better hit. Also, these little blueprint style background are absolutely beautiful, and they'll be downloadable very soon in a little package of loading screens. Big thanks to Kevin for putting together these blueprint style backgrounds. I want to say that. Yeah, but anyways, delay fire is going to be a super cool thing that we're going to do with. Right. On the GMODISM channel, you probably saw that I built detection turrets. These detection turrets are going to be added at different locations around the ship here. And also, we need to do some experiments with detection setting. Perhaps we should set the averaging time for the detection to 5 seconds or something, to possibly bypass alterations, sine wave movements on the enemies that are designed to make us miss. This is a little bit of a gamble, but I think it might be smart to do that. Yeah, we can easily test that by pitching one Gimle class with a 5-second detection and another one set to like 0.1 instant detection polling. So if you set it to longer, it will be more accurate, which may be good for the crowns, but if you set it to shorter, it will be updating more in real time where the enemy is. So for small things, setting it really low is smart, and for big things, you can set it higher, we need to test which is best. Then we have some stuff to remove. So the Gimle obviously shouldn't cost more when we upgrade it. So we have some issues here. Our Mark III of the detonator cram turret, the main guns, they're more expensive, and so is the Arquebalista Indomitus. That means we'll need to remove some other stuff to afford it. So we do have a laser pack here in the back that is prone to getting damaged that we should remove. This little thing that throws Civs missiles on top, that's like 11,000, we can remove that. The Vigoletta 404 sniper cannons, they're kind of expensive too for not doing that much damage, so we'll remove them as well. And we also have like additional Q1, 2, 3 like pulse lasers inside of the Gimle class, and I think we may remove those pulse areas, since I do think we should focus on the continuous laser. It's all in the same system, so it's not like it matters very much, but you know, you never know. So that's my thinking. And I don't know if we should really remove the decoy crams. I found out that they are actually pretty good, but we should probably make them shoot faster. And the decoy crams is just to trigger enemy COS systems. And one thing that's gonna be a little bit difficult, but we want to move the steam boilers underwater so that they will not cause fire inside the ship. And we also have a couple of underwater COS cannons that are targeting torpedoes. I feel we should remove them because actually most of the opponents doesn't use torpedoes, so we shouldn't really optimize too much to defend against torpedoes. We are like, right now we're having like a half-assed attempt at defending ourselves against torpedoes, and I don't want that. Look at these cool custom little menu and loading screens. Aren't they absolutely stunning? Well, you can get them very soon. This week, I'm thinking. Well, we are looking nice here, but I want to show you the last iteration for this session, which is the version 4. As long as I have been able to make it, and we should repair it. Now, I'm a bit, the superstructure up here is a lot of work in progress, but we've basically gotten the main shape of the hull and superstructure. We're gonna have a laser turret inside of here that's gonna just move like a disc, and I'm thinking we're gonna have it like at this level, and I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do in this middle level, but I have some ideas. But this will be the main outline of the ship, and I think it looks pretty cool. It's a bit wide and unhydrodynamic, I mean. Hydrodynamic is like aerodynamic, but for water, if you're new to weird words. But it is also a monitor class, and it's going to be a glass cannon. It's going to be pretty slow. It's going to be, you know, heavy-hitting, fire support type of vessel. But yeah, I hope our commander is happy with the progress so far, and it will be it will be continuously upgraded within the Gimle upgrade videos as well. And about that, let's load in the Gimle class refit that you haven't seen, and now you can see it basically costs what it did before, and we did a lot of the things that I said that we would do, or said that is planned, or yeah, what we basically went through in that little blueprint drawing board thing, mind map, I don't know. So we managed to load this in here, and we got the new turrets looking very splendid. We do have the new Arquebalista Indomitus, and we swapped the ammo types for these guys. I decided to keep them, but they have a 5% packing now, so they just fire all the time basically. And this one. I don't think I actually said it to you, but it was in the to-do list, and we made this a hollow point. This one specifically. The other ones are still sabot. Yeah, so we have more things to do, more things to complete on it, but we had to pay for it by removing some stuff. So here we had a Seawiz cannon. It is removed. It didn't write. It didn't really provide what I wanted it to provide, so we could as well remove it, because that was like 10,000 materials too. And if you watched the diff gun video, I did show you my new ongoing diff guns, and here we are actually having a damage dealing diff guns, the Marcelita, I think, or Marcelita, I think. Which is doing some damage, as for Mars, because that's like war planet. But in any case, it should deal some early game damage, and it's not that expensive, so focusing less on defense and focusing more on offense is gonna be like the main style of the Mark III for the Gimle class. Yeah, you know what? I think that's basically what I'm gonna show you this time. So I hope you did enjoy this little first upgrade. We have a lot more things to do. I'll come back with a drawing, and I haven't even done everything that I've written down yet. The laser system is gonna be a big challenge, and so is the boilers. So there we are. Ending this little video. Thanks a lot for watching, and please leave a like if you haven't already. You know, we have some GMODISM channel up there where we have some streams and stuff, 24/7 entertainment. We have like weeks of content, I think it is, with like just old tournaments, battles, tutorials, and mostly like battles. So you can have that in the background if you want some company, or if you missed some of the old tournaments and stuff like that. And yeah, collect some watch time for the GMODISM channel. That would be nice. The GMODISM channel needs 1,000 subscribers to be monetizable. Right now, YouTube takes all the little revenue it does. But please help me with a little bit more watch time and a little more subscribers. 5 to be particular, more. And I can apply the channel. That would be nice. Other than that, huge thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in this little Gimle upgrade. And if you're wondering, while we're doing the Gimle upgrade first and not the YouTube, not the, what is it, build platform, I'm getting tired, I'm sorry, but not the build platform Mark III, well, you decided in the democratic voting system, which is YouTube polls. So yeah, that's why the Mark III of the platform is still in testing, because you voted. I'll try and focus on not 3 projects at once, trying to keep it to 2. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. I should stop rambling and go and have a awesome day or night or whatever time zone you are in for watching this video. Right. AOG Invictus.